6 AM, we're pulling into Abakan, the last stop on the Trans-Siberian highway. Bogdan has arranged for me to be met here by some other followers. If no one is here to meet me, then I'll be stranded in the middle of nowhere with no place to stay. It's unnerving to say the least. Lucky for me, they're here. Roma, my new host, introduces himself. Roma and his wife Tatiana live in one of the mountain villages established by the Church of the Last Testament, close to the location of the festival, and that's where we're heading. The car journey begins with a wrong turn behind a rather suspicious-looking building. As we reverse up the dirt track, my mind wanders, and I realise how vulnerable I am. Fortunately, we're back on the main road before long. The ugly urban cityscape soon turns into a beautiful natural landscape. The road becomes more rugged the further we travel into the mountains. We arrive at the village of Pt2, where Tatiana and Roma have built their home. The house seems modern compared to many that I've seen on my journey. It could be easily mistaken for a chalet in the Swiss Alps.
Home. Sweet home.
As Roma packs the stove with firewood, Tatiana lays out a beautifully prepared meal made from the vegetables grown on their land.
For 2 hours every day I'll go here and do something. We have already take from here onions.
The Siberian climate creates very fertile soil this time of year, which is fundamental for their survival. The Vissarion has said that God created humankind with his hands. Therefore, every person should be a creator themselves. This is why there is such an emphasis on the arts and crafts within the community. As I look around the village, it's not immediately apparent that there's any particular religion at all. There are a few photographs and books discreetly placed on shelves. They give thanks before their food. In the afternoon I noticed Roma disappear with his brother for some private prayers and meditation. No one in the village seems to be ruled by this faith. We're on our way to Petropavlovka, the central village for the whole community, and where the festival will take place. As soon as we arrive, the church bells chime. This is to remind the followers about God. It's a monumental building in the centre of town, hand-carved in wood. Outside Minyasinsk house is where the four-wheel drive truck leaves for the mountain. The journey will take 2 hours by truck and then another 8 or 9 kilometres on foot. The truck only drives so far before we disembark. As we walk, I ask one of the followers about community life on the top of the mountain. Olga is an English teacher.
40 families live in the town. They have gardens and they grow their vegetables.
We arrive at the village established by the most dedicated followers, close to the top of the mountain, in sight of the Vissarion's house. They greet us and talk about the community here. This is a brief respite before the next leg of our journey. It's a chance to eat. The food is strictly vegan, made from some sort of bulgur wheat and vegetables. It tastes great and you can't get much more organic than this. We continue to the top of the mountain. The houses in the village have gardens full of homegrown produce and solar panels for storing energy. It's a long trek and many people get tired during the journey. We get close to the Vissarion's house.
That's his house.
Yes, that's his house.
Is he there?
Yeah, if you feel something in your heart, you may. Some people feel, teacher.
The temple behind the house is not the first to be built here.
It is a new temple. On this place, there is a wooden temple, but the temple was burnt. But the teacher said that we have not much belief, and that is why the temple was burnt.
The Vissarions saying the followers didn't have enough faith is simply not fair. Sounds like blackmail to me, letting the followers believe that they were in some way responsible. There are 4 families that live at the top. Vadim, who's the Vissarion's right-hand man. He's the person who writes down the words of the Vissarion into the books of the Last Testament. There's also the Vissarion's guard, who lives here with his family to protect the Vissarion, and the gardener, who's responsible for growing a fantastic assortment of produce. In the big house at the front, Vissarion lives with his 5 children and his second wife, who appears in many of his paintings. The altar of the earth is the highest peak of the mountain. It's here that the followers feel closest to God, and where the Sunday Mass takes place. People from all religions are welcome to come here to pray. Feels to me like this is a holy place, but only because of the people's reactions. Perhaps that's what defines a holy place, the people and their behaviour.